Hey, come on, it's not even bad. Chaos Orb! Damn! Yo, Rich! You... No! If I died now because of it, right? Yep, I died. Nice. And I have no portal. Nice. Dick. But still, that doesn't count as death. That does not count as death, man. Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today, update number 1. Like, yesterday night was league start. We're now, I think, like 8 hours or something into the league, roughly. And when I said, yo, I'm gonna chill, I'm gonna be slow, I don't care if it takes 15 hours until to get to maps, right? Well, now after 8 hours and, yeah, around about 8 hours, I am now Act 7, okay? I've been playing, I've been enjoying the entire league mechanic, I've done every single quest, every single side quest, searching every waypoint, like, I'm really chilling, right? And I just want to give you guys a small little update here on how the league start went and what the current plan is and how does Lightning Conduit play like and all these kind of things. And to be fair, first of all, league start, I think the queues went by pretty fast. I think I was like in line like 13,000 or something, took a couple minutes, nothing too crazy. For some reason, I did not experience a single, disconnect. I had 2 game crashes overall, but I think that's based on my PC. Since I formatted my PC, I downloaded PoE completely new, and I noticed as soon as I touched the Legion, or the Delirium, for example, or the first Abyss and first Nico and stuff, was a little bit laggy, but overall, a very, very good experience on the launch itself. It was actually pretty awesome. When it comes to the character itself, as I said in my yesterday's video on how I think it's going to turn out, and it's going to suck really, really bad, yes and no. So first of all, my tree, pretty much the same as I posted it early on, just traveling nodes, more traveling nodes, getting some res, more traveling nodes, until you get Mind Over Matter, Alley Overload. Then I went into the first Lightning Mastery for the additional chain. I could go for more damage, but I don't feel I need that, you know, like, as of right now, Lightning Conduit is doing massive amounts of damage, and as long as I don't feel that my damage sucks, then I'm just gonna stay with the +1 chain for my Orb of Storms, then went over for Agnostic and the Arcane Capacitor, pretty standard stuff. POB is in the description below if you want to check out my current gear and whatnot. So how was the leveling experience? So I started with Burning Arrow until level 12, and I gotta say, I did get help from my guild, obviously, because as a raider, you're not gonna have access to all the blue gems and whatnot, right? So I asked the guild, like, yo, if somebody has a Stormbrand, I would like to buy it. Like, they buy it from the vendor if they're a witch or anything, right? And throw it into the guild stash so I have it available. Because, yeah, as a raider, you don't get this as a quest reward, right? And this pretty much happens all the way. No Lightning Conduit, no conductivity, no Wrath Aura, no nothing, basically, right? But yeah, I just went with Burning Arrow early on, then I went with Stormbrand, but as I say, it probably is better to do this like vendor recipe. I think I still have, like, I throw my wands in here. Personally, you have to Google the vendor recipe. I think it's a topaz ring with like a wand or something, anything like that. Just, you know, there's vendor recipes for that. I just got this traded over by a friend of mine that was a lot faster than me in leveling, and he just gave me this wand for leveling, basically. And it was, no, I cannot even say it was decent. It was just terrible, right? But once you hit level 28 and you get your Lightning Conduit, this is when things actually start to get crazy. So my current 4-link is an Orb of Storms with Archmage, Overcharge, and Ally Proliferation. And my 3-link is Lightning Conduit, and I just got my Control Destruction from the vendor because it seems like, since PUB is finally updated, it seems like this is like the best support. Other than that, Arcane Cloak with Arcane Surge, then we have Dash and Stonebrand. I still have this one because I'm like swapping out Stonebrand and Orb of Storms. Then Galvanic Field just to test it. I think it's like really bad. You just get a buff here, and as soon as you shock something, it just disappears and makes this like field that literally does... It's weird. Like, I want to test it, but I think it's kind of bad. I would rather keep this buff for the additional shock chance, right? That would be quite nice. Then Wrath with Eternal Blessing, so I can just activate this. This is basically instead of an Essence Worm, so you're gonna have the ring slot open, right? And I got like a pretty nice ring over here with 119 mana, 81 regen, and 67 fire res. The negative energy shield doesn't matter to me at all, just because I have Agnostic, I don't even have energy shield. So I think the League mechanic will play into our cards pretty heavily. So when it comes to, let's just do like the first quest over here so you see how it works, right? So basically I started with Stonebrand, then I swapped to Orb of Storms, then back to Stonebrand, then back to Orb of Storms. I think like Stonebrand felt better. But once I got like the extra chain, I think Stonebrand, like Orb of Storms is still better because of a certain line that is on the key, on the skill gem, and it says strikes every 285 seconds, which is terrible. So if I just gonna lay down this one, you know, every 3 seconds there is a bolt of lightning, right? And now it's shocked, but as soon as I Lightning Conduit, it's pretty much gone, right? But there is another line on the gem that says, and when you use a lightning skill near the orb. So as soon as I use a lightning skill, the Orb of Storm will strike again. So, you know, like Orb of Storms puts a shock on. I use the conduit to get the damage and remove the shock, but since I use a lightning skill, the Orb of Storm will shoot again and apply a next shock. So I can like literally hold down my lightning conduit to permanently shoot at single targets, right? Then I have like Arcane Cloak on my left click here, right? So pretty much I go in, I just, yeah, put down my Orb of Storms, and then I just continuously hammering my my Lightning Conduit. Obviously, early on, you're gonna have mana problems, and this is actually a very good point to point out here. Why do I have so much mana problems? And this is because of ailments. And this is like one of the reasons why I said I want to go Raider. I want to be like, I don't want to play a character without ailment immunity. So Bleeding, Corrupted Blood, Ignite, anything that is a dot on you will just drain your mana as hell. And since I don't really have a lot of mana and not a lot of skill points to invest into mana regen, like this is my next point, mana regen, life mana regen, I'm gonna get here mana regen, like all the way, even though down here I think the next 10-15 levels I'm strictly gonna go into mana, so I get like 4,000 or 5,000 mana pool, so my regen will actually be a lot better, right? But other than that, dude, Lightning Conduit, even though it feels a bit clunky to play as of right now, I really think that the kind of trigger version will be the way to go. Just to make it like more easy, because at the moment it feels like a worse version as the Essence Drain Contagion, but it has damage. Holy shit. So as I said, my gear sucks. I have almost entirely travel nodes on my entire tree, no big damage whatsoever, and it still does a freak ton of damage. It's actually insane. Wait, did I actually... Immune to lightning damage is probably not the way. Over here, not included. But yeah, damage-wise, I even have the +1 chain on my Lightning Mastery for now, instead of the increased shock effect, instead of the mana is equal, like 30% of your shock effect that you get, right? But I don't feel I have damage issues whatsoever. I put down my Orb of Storms and I just hold down my Lightning Conduit, and this shit just deals shit tons of damage. Any good cards? Sadly not. But yeah, it's like 7 in the morning, so if I sound a little bit like off the charts, then yeah, that's probably the reason why I was playing all night long. Now I just want to get this video online so you guys have a first update if you want to like play this build as well or whatnot. And yeah, just gonna like go to bed afterwards. So anyways, as I say again, it was terrible in the start. Once you hit level 28, it starts to be really... not really insane, but still like decent enough to level, okay? So I expected a lot worse. And yeah, based on the gearing, we can go over the gear real quick. I mean, it's just solo cell phone stuff, literally, right? So it's all about anything that I found, these gloves, life, mana, res. I got this somewhere in the Kalandra thingy, right? The rest, literally the same. As I said, path of building description below. Nothing too special to share over here, right? And yeah, let's talk about the league mechanic, actually. Here it is. Here is one of the tables. So personally, I really enjoy the league mechanic for now. I cannot really judge yet if it's rewarding or not, but I would say the way I understand it, it's pretty straightforward. So it doesn't need like a lot of like how you say, I don't need to watch a guide to understand what it is about, right? This is your starting point. The further the tiles are away, the harder it gets, right? So that's why I use the just like defeat packs of snakes, defeat like whatever. This is what I put in on the start just as a filler, and every time it says like Arby's, essences, strong boxes, shrines, whatever gives me like league mechanic, I'll put at the end somewhere because it's gonna be harder in difficulty. Then you have like swapping tiles. You can convert these water tiles into normal tiles. You can swap the entrance position. There's like tiles for everything, right? Like here, change the water tile into an empty tile. So I take this, put it over here. So that means now I even have it one further. So I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 steps. So I think the craziest thing that I'm gonna find, I'm gonna put at the end, and the rest, swap a water tile with an empty tile. So here you can swap the water, right? This would be if, I think is there a difference if I go with this? Because I could like swap this tile with this water tile to make the thing longer, right? But later on it's gonna be massive, and I think there is like no difference. So Karui soldiers or defeat the brine vessels. I don't know what this is, but we're just gonna take it like over here. Doesn't matter. And now it's just done. You go into the next zone, and then you, over time, you just fill up the spot. As soon as it's done, you click over here, you open it, and then you just go in. It literally functions like a map, and that's why I'm like that slow, because since the start I'm literally using that, and that's why I'm like kind of over leveled. I think it's a 51 zone. I'm like level 55 and a half, so I'm decently over leveled, but it's totally fine because I think my build is kind of shit anyways as of right now, right? And I think I actually bought myself the Mind of the Council helmet, because I feel like the playstyle with Orb of Storm, it works, but it still feels clunky, right? And I'm wondering how this would feel with a kinetic bolt setup. So that's why I got myself the Mind of the Council, which is basically my Endgame helmet, right? Which is this. Wait, where is it? This one over here. I actually got it for, I think, 3 chaos or something. And since I found like some decent items, I actually got myself 24 chaos already. I'm actually considering maybe go for an early Cloak of Defiance just to get like better mana regen, even though the flask itself got kind of nerfed. Not the flask, the chest, because it lost a 10% MOM. But overall, it is still maybe a decent choice just because of the mana regen, right? But yeah, that is pretty much it, what I can tell you right now. Now I'm going to take a nap, I'm going to take a rest, and then tomorrow we're going to go into maps, and then we're just going to blast, you know? I have a lot of plans, and now we finally have the PUB update. The funny thing is, I literally just took any of my old PUBs here, right? And I just throw in Lightning Conduit as a 1 link with a 65% shock effect. And this shit is already 2 million DPS. So if I would just add, I don't know, like, I don't know why Spell Echo is there. I think people reported to me that there is like a bug that one Lightning Conduit can go off multiple times without using the shock or something. Maybe it's just because of the cast speed. I think there is like a buggy interaction with traps or anything, but as soon as I hear it's buggy or this is not intentional, I'm gonna stay away from that anyways, and I'm surely not gonna play traps. But then would get like probably control destruction into lightning pen, into maybe conk effect, into, well, conk effect maybe like lowers your clear, it depends, need to check, into archmage, and the last one, I don't know, might be even spell echo, and we're already at like 18 mil DPS. And this just sounds, I mean, obviously there's like high-end gems and like awakened gems and whatnot, but I think like the majority of my gear is just life and mana and nothing crazy, right? And if I see those damage numbers, I'm like, bro, this is actually gonna be rough. I mean, like, very, very strong, right? But hey, I'm looking forward to that. How it's going to develop. Obviously, it's very hard to say. All I can do is just try out things and let you guys know every day how the journey went. What did I try out? What do I feel is best? Personally, I still think that my Kinetic Bolt, Cast on Crit, Lightning Conduit version might be a success if I can sustain the mana cost, maybe even dropping Archmage, because based on Path of Building, it is actually my 5th best like support gem, so dropping that shouldn't be a major loss in DPS while having an easier time sustaining things, right? Because like 162 mana, if you have a mana pool of 2000, if you like spam that, right? Especially later on, if you go a cast and crit and proc it like 5-6 times a second, it could really, really drain you out, right? I don't even know if Archmage works with trigger skill. I don't really see a point why it should not be. It's just like a different way of building a character, and I just want to try it out. And here, there is the next sale for 5 Chaos. But yeah, I think I got some nice little items that I could find and could sell, and I think like having 30 Chaos and Act 7 is actually quite nice. The only problem is I do have some life searches, for example, like a Cloak of Defiance and other items, but yo, every time the life search goes off, it's like, yo, this is a divine, this is a divine, this is 2 divines, this is 5 divines. I'm like, bro, there's like, I think this is actually going to be a little bit problematic, because personal opinion about it is just, since we don't really know the exact value of a divine orb, right? For example, an exalted orb on the first day, the first couple exalted orb are like 30, 40, 50 chaos, and then on the second day it's like 70, 80, 90 chaos, but eventually we'll settle down like a between 120 to 150 chaos per exalted orb, right? After like 5-6 days or something, right? But since we don't know how the divine orb will gonna stay on the market, I think it's risky to sell big ticket items early on, right? Because I think, let me actually check how much is a divine orb as of right now, as of like 10 hours into the league, right? So I want to have a divine orb, and I'm gonna pay chaos. So we are at online only. We are at about 75 chaos. I would say it's a little bit... it makes sense, you know, as I just said before, an Exalt would be about 50 chaos at this part. Divine is like 75 now. But as I said, it's very hard to predict. My prediction would be that the Divine Orb would be around 250 chaos, roundabout. Somewhere between 200 and 300 chaos a piece. That makes it actually almost twice as valuable as an Exalted Orb. But yeah, you know, it's gonna be crazy anyways. We just have to learn this entire new pricing system and to not like misprice our items or like make bad trades overall. Good, I think that's it what I have for you today. I hope you guys had an amazing league start, and then I hope that that I see you guys later on the stream, and if not, then on tomorrow's update. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.